All right, it's 5 o'clock. We're gonna see if we can do a boil out a little better than the last one. So you turn these off, let it start cooling down, and I'm gonna start filtering it down through the filter to cool it off. So after I turn it off, I move the basket, I pull these things down to start draining them, and then turn this on to start that top going through the top to start filtering it. Okay, to do a boil out, you go ahead and filter your oil like you're just going to do a regular cleaning. Drain it down in there, and then we're going to put it into buckets. Okay, so we're going to drain the oil. We filtered it out. We're going to drain the oil into the buckets to just take to the back and throw out. And then we're going to clean the filter down there. Alright, once we get all the oil taken out, we start filling up a bucket with water.
I have an item at the gift service that is a team.
Shut these off and fill up this with water. We're going to fill each side with the water, the hot water from the sink, and we're going to put a bottle of foam free in each side of it, and then we're going to change the temperature and boil that. Okay, I guess you don't fill it up all the way, you just fill it up. I need to put a little more in that one, but you fill it up right above the heating elements, like that. And then you come down here and switch. You hold this in. Oh, wait a minute, sorry. Turn that on. Hold this in. And it'll start heating up. There we go, that noise. And once I get that one up there, I'll do the same with this side. Okay, you can hear that kicking on. I'm gonna do this same thing. This is supposed to make it heat up faster. Oh, let's turn it on, sorry. Okay, usually to change the temperature you hit this twice and change it, but when you hold this in twice it makes that noise and it's supposed to heat up much faster. And it'll start boiling, and you gotta watch it because it'll suds up, it'll boil, and it'll come up to the edge and it'll go back down. It'll come up to the edge and it'll go back down, and you have to do that for while that is boiling. We're going to take this filter, unscrew it, and take it to the back and clean it out so that when we run the water through it, it will not get clogged. If we do it like this before we clean it out, it gets clogged up. Okay, now that this has been boiling for 20 minutes, actually it's been doing it longer because I got busy, but I cleaned that out, connected it back. I'm going to shut these off. Since that's connected now, I've got to go ahead and drain it both down. Make sure that's connected, drain that down so that I can start getting it out and discarding it in the bucket. Alright, so it's easier to use 2 buckets for this process, so you can be dumping one while the other one's filling up. Okay, so once that came to a boil and we got all of the first solution out, water solution with foam free, then we filled it back up with water And we added about a half cup of vinegar per side. We did the same thing. We hit this and got it to boil really fast. And I made sure that I hit the P twice and I reset it back to 350. Okay, but it hit that twice and make that sound, and it'll heat up really fast. And I did the same thing on this side. So the water and vinegar can come to a boil for about 10 minutes, and then I can drain it out into the bottom before I put clean oil in it. Then we open the drains, we shut off those things, open the drains back up, drain it back out. And the last step will be flip that on and start getting out the water and vinegar solution. And it's all nice and clean. And you can also take the hose that's in there, run it down underneath there, and spray it. Spray it out if you want. Let that go back in there. Okay, once we get that done, we're going to fill this up with oil. Make sure that these things are shut. And we're going to put another new filter in that, rinse out, dump out whatever water's left in there from the water and vinegar solution. Alright, once I clean that filter, put a new one in there for the last time, screwed that thing back on, made sure that these were lined up down there, screwed that back in, and I've made sure that the temp is set back to 350 for in the morning. Obviously I'm not going to turn it on right now, but that one's, I checked that one too. And make sure that it's filled with new oil with the fill to the fill line. And it took about 3.5 buckets of fresh oil. That's the bad oil there. And then I've cleaned the buckets, the baskets, and I'm going to put those back in there. And that is how you do a boil out. It's a little time consuming, but that's how you do it.